Welcome back to the Cutty and Govy Show. We're down here at Stella Mix in Delray Beach, and we're doing our 70th episode, Govy. And as a reward, I bought myself a smart TV this week, but the only problem is it doesn't get the view. Because it's a smart TV, you get it? It doesn't get the view.
That is pretty funny.
Anyway, we're down here in beautiful Florida, and on Election Day in 2 weeks, 2 Tuesdays from 2 days ago, big subject on the ballot is legal marijuana in the state of Florida. And I'm taking the side. I know Govy's on the other side. I don't think they should legalize it, and I think it's going to happen. It's 59% already. People say they want it.
Well, they already, I think the last election, they already had like one of those pre-votes, like to see how it would do.
Yeah, I remember.
And it won by like 60%, and DeSantis vetoed it, basically, like saying it wasn't all correct. So here's the second time. I think that they should pass it. And I can give you all the reasons why.
Well, let's hear them. I mean, other than money, it will bring a lot of money into the coffers.
Well,
but, I mean, you're legalizing marijuana. I mean, it's like in New York. You can walk into any store and buy gummies, marijuana.
No, it's not, though. Down here, it's medicinal. So here you need to get a doctor's note, which, by the way...
Well, we have that now.
Yeah, but what
I have a doctor's
which
note.
is a fake doctor.
From a crooked doctor.
Right, so they're telling you, I want you to go to a crooked doctor, pay some... $300 that you have to renew every year.
Right.
And that way you can go to our place, and then you can get your, to the
Well, how's
shops.
How's that different than what I do now?
Well, now it's going to be legal where you can just go in.
Right.
You can just go in, no doctor's notes. You want to go in, you can buy whatever you want to buy each day, not a certain
So give me
number.
the reasons why they should legalize marijuana.
Because when we were younger,
right,
there was no fentanyl. So it wasn't laced.
Right.
Maybe you got some pot that had all the seeds that you had to get rid of and all this other stuff.
But remember that with a shoebox, you had to shake the
record
shoebox.
album and get all the seeds to come in there, and it was brown, and So it's come a long way.
Right.
So it's like alcohol is today. So I look at it like you have to be 21 years of age, just like alcohol. Is there going to be people that are going to ask someone to go buy it for them? Yes. But at least today, you know that you're getting it 100%, that you're not ODing on marijuana. So it's clean. You can get what you want. So let's say if the other way, there's 3 different types of, say, marijuana strains. You can get sativa, which gives you a little bit of energy. There's a hybrid, and then there's an indica. An indica, like, basically you can,
Kills you
just stay in for the evening.
You're comatized.
You're going to watch. So at least you know what you're getting. Before, you got some guy would just say, you don't know, you think you're getting sativa, and it's indica.
Right.
So now just make the law stricter. So if you break the law, maybe if you're caught and you're 18 or younger or 16, maybe you make the penalty a little harsher for the parents or whatever, or something like that. And
but what's the deal with driving? How does a cop test you if you smoked a joint, other than him smelling it on you? Like a DUI, they can do a blow test, but how do they test you to see if you're intoxicated by a marijuana?
Field sobriety test.
Make you walk.
Yeah, a field sobriety test that you could see how you are.
Or if they see a lot of snacks in your car.
Yeah, but I mean,
they figure you've been munching out.
Yeah, there's a way. It's like back in the day, they had a problem with Quaaludes. That you had you passed your blood alcohol level.
Right.
There's but meanwhile you couldn't talk. So I think that it'll get better with time. I think that today's generation, with decades have gone by, it's no different than alcohol. Some people would rather not drink and be able to smoke a couple hits of pot and relax, as long as they are responsible, just like anything else.
So it looks like it's going to pass. Well, we're on that.
It depends on DeSantis. Does he have the veto? If it passes, does he still have the veto power?
I don't think DeSantis is going to get in the way of any votes. I mean, if the preponderance of residents of Florida vote for it, he's going to let it go.
And it goes to help by the way, you have all the advertisements down here. You have the police. They don't want to waste their time stopping anybody. And the money goes to the police force and to teachers.
Right.
So, I mean...
All right, so we'll see if it passes. But while we're on that, because it's about money...
One victory from it. That's a victory on my side right there.
Right there. Okay, you beat me up on that one. Let's talk about Elon Musk Tesla. As we sit here today, his stock's up $45 or $47 when I left my office today. His earnings came out, Everybody said he's done, he's finished, he's running the best car company in the world. It's up 47, it's up 15% in one day. People are happy to make 5%. He's running SpaceX. He's running his tunnel company. He's running everything. He's running
Donald Trump's campaign.
He's jumping up and down. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. How's he run all these companies? They said he's distracted. There's no way he can. His Tesla's going down the chute. It was down 20, 30, 40 points. It was down like even for the year, I think. But, here his earnings came out. It's absolutely astounding. And on the other side of the coin, the best run company, or one of the greatest companies in the world, Boeing, is like crashing into the ground.
Give the story on Boeing. Besides them hiring DEI.
Well, Boeing, they released their earnings. They lost $6 billion, and that's with a B for the quarter. Projected next quarter, $4 billion with a B. That's $10 billion for 2 quarters. Now, what's happening? Boeing has to go out and borrow money to survive, $10 billion. And the union is on strike. They want a 35% raise plus $7,000 as soon as the strike is over. They've been on strike for 5 weeks. So you tell me, how can a union force go on strike against a company that's losing $10 billion and get rejected? They offered them 25% increase. Now, this is all because of inflation, folks. I'm not saying that these guys are not, and women are not behind the 8 ball because of inflation, but the company doesn't have the money.
I'm going to explain it to you.
Please explain it to me.
Because the mentality of the people that are working there, that are not in ownership, they're employees there, their mentality is they look at the United States and they see that we don't have the money. But it doesn't stop us from giving money to all these countries, even though we're broke. So every time that if we have to give, say, Ukraine money or give money to illegal immigrants that are here, we don't have the money. We're just borrowing against our own money. So they're thinking, even though our deficit's going up, they're thinking, the United States is doing it. Why can't Boeing do that? It's the same mentality. They're not understanding. If the United States would be more fiscal sound, other companies would be able to.
That's a great point, Govy. But if a politician stood on the stage and said to you, America's broke, I'm not going to promise you a tax cut, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, because we don't have any money. We got to get our fiscal house in order. Would you be okay with that explanation instead of a promise of a tax cut?
I would be better off with someone like Donald Trump saying, Elon Musk is going to be in my cabinet, and his job is to cut all excess waste that we have. Let's try seeing how much he saves by unnecessary projects, pet projects that they call what? Pork? And the thing, how much pork can he save from this senator of Missouri getting his pet project and this pet? There's a lot of pet projects out there that can be eliminated.
And I'm sure he gross margin 19% at Tesla, which is unheard of in the car business. And, I'm sure he can chop away, cut 80% of the staff at Twitter. He's operating the company with 20% of the staff. It's unbelievable. But, we'll see what happens. I mean, he also, and he says he works 20 hours a day, sleeps on the factory floor, but in the meantime, he has 9 or 10 kids. So he's finding, right?
Yeah, but
he's finding time to shtuppy a little.
Yeah,
I mean,
but he comes up with an idea where, he gives $1 million for every rally that he has to sign up, to the people that sign up registering to vote. Now, it doesn't mean that you're voting Republican. You can vote for anything you want. Just so now the Democratic Party thinks that is illegal, but they're going to find out that it's not. It's legal to be able to do something like that. So that's an interesting thing. $1 million. You watch these game shows at night, like Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. They're playing for peanuts. He's giving you $1 million to show up at a rally.
How do you qualify for that? You just show up?
You show up at a rally, and if you register, if you put your... So how many people were there? 10,000?
10,000.
If you went to Publix and you want to play the lottery,
right,
you're going up against millions of people. Here for $10,000, it's like you got a shot.
So, talking about Elon Musk and his 10 kids, sex sells. Now you're reading about this Abercrombie and Fitch guy. I mean, and you have P. Diddy. Well, tell us about this Abercrombie and Fitch guy. I mean, I read about it today. I mean, these guys are freaks. I mean, he was.
You can't even read what they did to the.
I mean,
it's unbelievable. They were abused sex slaves by promising. By the way, it's like going
The
up
models,
to,
the models.
Yes, but you're going up to these 18-year-old kids,
Right.
and you're basically saying, if you want to get into this business, this is what you got to do. And it's like they had no idea, and they were just bullied into being like
For years,
for being abused.
For like 10 years, they were trafficking, these kids with drugs and having sex with them and all these, I guess it's called a freak off or whatever they were doing. And P. Diddy, I mean, I'm waiting for juice to come out on that. When's that all coming out?
Do you know if they have a jail? They have like little pods in jail.
Yeah.
There's like
I've never been in jail.
Well, there's a section. I haven't been in jail either, but they have pods where they put like 10 people.
Those TV shows about jail, I don't even watch
No,
them.
I don't know. I just picture people fighting over the TV watching Sanford and Son versus some other watching Good Times or something. But anyway, they have these little pods where they have 10 people to thing. Could you imagine putting like Abercrombie Fitch, P. Diddy, R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein? I mean, put them all in the same quad.
I mean, Govy, look, I have 4 kids from 3 different women. I thought I was crazy and wild, but I mean, I'm a choir boy.
If you could dunk, you could be in the NBA.
I mean, this is crazy what's going on. When I read this Abercrombie, however you say it, Abercrombie and Fitch, these 2 guys, it's such high-profile guys, and there's so many victims and models and P. Diddy and all these victims and all these stars. How do they keep it silent for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years that nobody knows about this?
They do. The problem is how many people did know and just didn't say anything. Look, P. Diddy, how many people went to these parties and actually witnessed something and didn't say anything?
It is it's incredibly insane.
And again, I come back to, if you were at a P. Diddy party and you witnessed something and you took yourself out and left, are you going up and saying anything to anybody, authorities?
But in my business career, if I said one off-color remark to an employee, I would get sued. How are these guys getting away with drugging people, raping people, and carrying on like this Abercrombie and Fitch duo? They did hundreds and hundreds of models that they were having.
Because
isn't somebody pissed off that they're going to go rat them out?
Because he had the power of making you famous and giving you a career or not. So when you're 20 years old and you're coming from the Ozarks, and all of a sudden you're in Hollywood, and there's a guy that says, I can make it happen for you, and these are some of the people that I have already had success with. You don't think J-Lo, by the way, when she was 20 years old, 21 with P. Diddy, you don't think she witnessed a bunch of stuff that she now knows at her age, in her 50s, 52 years old? You don't think she knows what she, witnessed?
Yeah. I mean,
she hasn't said anything.
But, it's been a while since you've worked retail, since you're a mega watchbox superstar, super sales guy. And but back in the day, if you made any off-color remark to a customer or an employee, wouldn't you have been in trouble?
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
I mean, you own the company. I get it, but
well, that's why you have HR. Like when you first start doing business and you're starting off on the ground level, you don't really have the money to hire an HR person. That's not like the first thing you do when you're only 3 people in the whole company. Then all of a sudden, you need HR. Otherwise, you're right. You can be for whatever reason.
I have a funny story. I had a personal assistant named Eileen, and my personal office was large.
I remember her.
Yeah, she was great, and she retired.
Right.
And I was in an office, wore suit and tie every day to work, and I was in the office with my insurance guy, an older guy, and Eileen comes in and says, Mr. Graham, would you like a cup of coffee? And Eileen always looked sharp. She was always built terrific, in great shape, always took care of herself. And Mr. Graham, would you like a cup of coffee? He said, sure, Eileen. And as she walks out, to get the cup of coffee, he says, by the way, Eileen, you have a great ass. And I said, Bill, you really need to apologize to Eileen. You can't say something like that. She turns around and she says, when you're 53 and somebody says you have a great ass, you take the compliments. So she let him off the hook. But anyway, Govy, let's get, the meat of the subject here is Trump, Harris. We're 12 days away from the biggest election of our lifetime, I'm assuming, but they all seem big.
But I want to say one thing. When you...
we want to talk first about Daniel, the choke guy, before we get into the heavy stuff.
The choke,
the subway guy that's on trial for Daniel. What was his name?
The guy that was in the Marines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? I don't know if our viewership has ever been accosted or somebody has come up to them on the streets of, let's call it New York, and yelled and screamed a homeless person. It's scary.
I've been on the subway before in New York. I used to take the subway all the time there. And I got to tell you, the first thing you do is you don't make contact with anybody. You know, you're looking down. You don't want to pay any attention. But then when you start seeing the guy like coming down the car and getting in people's faces, you're kind of happy to see that there's a Marine there that decided to say, hey, you know, the guy was threatening. You know, he didn't mean for it to happen. But then again, you don't want to sit there and have a guy take out a knife and kill somebody, and then you
don't know.
You don't know. I mean, the guy was arrested 49 times.
And he was on some kind of drug.
And he was on some drug. So if the police did their job, or not the police, if the judge did their job by locking him up, the police did their job. They arrested the guy 49 times. I mean, sometimes a police officer could look at him and say, hey, I know this guy. I'm not wasting my time anymore.
But I guess they're trying, you know, in the old James Bond movies, they said that his hands were lethal weapons because he knew jiu-jitsu and karate. I guess they're making that argument on this Daniel, whatever his last name is, that he was a Marine and he should have known when he was choking him when was enough choking.
Well, the guy was still alive. He's still breathing, and there's a lot of chaos. People were taking cell phones. People were happy that he was doing it. So, look, I think he's getting off. It would be very hard to see all the crime that takes place in New York. And here's a hero. And by the way, he did get $3 to $4 million in the GoFundMe page to pay for his lawyers.
Good.
So he doesn't have, you know, court-appointed lawyers. He has top-rated lawyers.
I was on at a traffic light on the way to my golf course last year, and you go through a little bit of a bad neighborhood, and there's beggars on the corner there, and this guy comes up, you know, he has the sign, I'm homeless, whatever, and everybody's standing there at their car, and they don't give him any money, or they give him money. The guy comes up to my window, and he starts because I'm ignoring him, and pounding on my window. Fuck you, cursing at me. I want money. I mean, it's scary if you've ever been in a situation like that.
An aggressive beggar.
Aggressive beggar, yeah. So anyway.
But I gotta tell you something. We're talking about some politics. I'll tell you where things are getting a little dirty right now. And a lot of people don't realize it. It was a very iconic picture that Donald Trump did when he went to McDonald's. I mean, it goes up there with his fight picture of him with that tower in that pickup tower, him waving to the driver as he left off, and you see a president of the United States wearing a red tie delivering a Happy Meal is an iconic, like, you can't believe it's happening. And because the Democrats were so mad and by the way, Donald Trump loves McDonald's. So if you were a winning team like the Clemson football team that was national champions when he was there, he catered it with McDonald's. He eats McDonald's probably twice a week. This isn't a guy that's like getting a photo. He loves it. So what happened after he does this photo shoot? The next day, all of a sudden, there's an outbreak, E. coli with McDonald's that's all over. McDonald's stock drops $19 because of this. 49 people got sick eating a quarter pounder that they found out was by an onion maybe that was in there. So today...
So you think what are you saying?
I'm saying...
Onion?
No, what I'm saying is, I think 49 people that eat fast food, I bet you there's 1,000 people a day that when they eat fast food, they say, I don't think I feel that well. And by the way, that's why the jokes with Taco Bell, how many people you think get a bug and they have the runs after eating Taco Bell? I guarantee you it's more than 49 people a day. 49 is nothing. Is nothing to sit there and have a stock crash that they did. And
so
by the way, today...
are you saying this is a plant? Are you saying the fact that this happens to McDonald's all the time and nobody says anything because Trump went to McDonald's the day before? Now somebody's bringing the Biden media, the Harris media is bringing this out.
Yes. There's more than
Oh my God, Govy, come on. This is a conspiracy?
There's more than 49 people a day get sick on fast food. You don't think... By the way, why today? Today...
I mean, the lawyers would love this.
Well, just today, Taco Bell and Burger King both took off the onions, that they're not selling onions on their thing because it happened to them. Now, it happened to them, front page of the paper, that they took it off. But McDonald's, isn't it kind of crazy? 2 days after...
It's a little...
2 days after...
coincidence.
2 days after, and it was a big deal that he went there and this and that, and 49 people.
Yeah.
49 people. I mean, how many people could have McDonald's and say, I don't feel good, that Big Mac didn't agree with me? That's a joke.
Wow, I mean, the market cap of McDonald's got crushed over this, and you think they manipulated, the press manipulated this?
100%. Now, if you look at McDonald's, it's
Wow.
bouncing back because their earnings are coming out and it's doing great. It was a
Wow,
great
that's-
opportunity to buy
that's
McDonald's.
a crazy story. Well, if I go in, I'll get an Egg McMuffin. It doesn't have onions on
Well,
it.
I'm saying this also because I have the stock. So you notice it during the day when you wake up in the morning
man.
and you have to know what happened. Like,
What's it doing today? Is it up or
It's
is
up.
it Oh, it's up.
What's up?
All right, Gavi.
So I'm just saying. So that's
So Gavi and I have been fighting all week about this Harris/Trump stuff. And he's saying Harris is she was on CNN last night. She was a complete blithering idiot. And I'm saying, Gavi, it doesn't matter. She can be a moron. She could say anything she wants. The score is 50-50 right now. And we, the Democrats, are stealing 5 more points, because we're corrupt. So it's going to be 55-45. She's winning. He's losing.
there's no way she's winning.
She's winning.
There's no way she's winning because I'll tell you what.
It's 50-50. I don't care. She can trip. She can fall. She can word salad it. She's getting
It's
away
worse
with
than
murder.
people think. I think the polls are like a week behind what it really is of the pulse of the country. I
agree with that.
I think in any given day, I come across 20 people that are more qualified to be the president of the United States.
Your doorman in your building,
than her.
the mailman.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I could sit there and meet somebody that is, I could say, is more qualified than she is. And when they ask her the same question over and over, she wouldn't do anything different. The border, she says, I got to take care of. Like, her answer is, we just got to fix it. It doesn't work that way. And then you got to picture yourself. If she sat across from Putin and Xi, they would laugh at her. Because when they would say, if something is coming on with a trade deal, she's going to say, that's unacceptable. You got to do better. Just fix it. Just fix it. I mean, that's her answer of everything. The war in Israel, we just need a ceasefire. She studied the maps. This genius studied the maps of Israel. She didn't study any maps. She's a moron when it comes to Israel. She has no idea what's going on over there. She doesn't know what's going on in Ukraine, except maybe she's getting money. And she's losing. And it's going to be a bigger blowout than you think. She lost, by the way. The black man vote is much more for Trump. The Latino vote is much more for Trump than in the last election. The Jewish vote is much more for Trump than the last election. Not saying he has them all. The margins have come up. And he only lost the last election. Now, I just don't know how much they cheated by putting in people in these certain pockets of states that could do it. Now, I do think they're going to cheat, personally. But I think Trump wins in a landslide.
You done?
Yeah, I am.
I love watching Gavi get worked
I mean, I
up.
just can't
Everybody
imagine.
see it.
I mean,
look
what-
at the veins in his neck.
Well, what
His
does she-
face is all red. He's
what
like
is she-
all worked up. Can I give you my
Well, I
point
just
of
want to
view?
say one
Go
la-
ahead,
one
you
last-
take 10
no,
minutes.
no,
I
one
don't
last
care.
thing.
We have plenty of time.
Here's how Jews should look at this.
Okay.
Jews should look at this. If Donald Trump became president again for 4 more years, since he was already president, you got to see, I truly believe that the world will be okay. If Kamala Harris wins and she's in office for 8 years, I don't know if Israel is still around in 8 years of her being in office. So, as a Jewish person, a lot of people look at Jews like they look at themselves as Jews first and Americans second. Even though I don't think that's true. I think a lot of Jews look at themselves as American first and Jews second. But if that's what the people think, I'm okay right now being Jew first on this situation because there will be no Israel if we have 8 more years of Kamala Harris. Now you can go.
You done?
Yeah.
All right. So, does every CEO have to be the smartest guy or gal in the room?
No.
Okay. So maybe Kamala, will hire people that are better, smarter, more in tune with.
You mean DEI hires like she has?
I don't know that they're going to be, but she may.
Boeing. Boeing.
Oh, Boeing's a problem. But I have a friend who's a famous Harvard-trained plastic surgeon, and he often says to me, just because you're a brilliant doctor, you went to Harvard and you have all A's, and let's call it a cardiac surgeon, it doesn't mean your hands work. And then you have doctors that didn't go to the best colleges, but their hands are unbelievable and they work. To pair the two up, to have a genius head and have the hands work is very, very rare. So I'm saying the same thing goes here. You know, she's not the brightest bulb. She's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, brightest bulb in whatever, the box. But, maybe she has the ability to delegate to the smartest people to run the country. Donald Trump is going to want to do everything himself. And maybe that's not necessarily the best thing.
Well,
He may not. He's a bright guy. He went to Wharton. I got all that. He's a tough guy. He can stand up to Putin and Xi. But, I think that maybe he's taking too much control and he's not delegating enough.
but he is, because his transition team this time around, he hired who was the guy from was it Ludwig? What was
Yeah, Howard Lutnick
Okay.
from Fitzgerald Cantor.
Okay, so his job, and by the way, super successful, gave $50 million to the Haverford College.
Right.
So here's a guy that his whole job is to hire the right people. He wants to create the dream team. He wants to go up to people that are multimillionaires, billionaires, and say, we need you for the country for 4 years. We need your talent here. We need to bring you in so that you could do the logistics, everything. And he wants to create the dream team.
But they're
She's
gonna,
creating
but
Pete Buttigieg.
they're going to have to work for Donald Trump. And Donald Trump may not necessarily get along with these dream team people. He may not, he may get into adversarial.
He might have to fire somebody?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. The general that we have now, what's his name?
Milley?
No, the other guy.
The guy, the guy.
Big tall guy.
Yeah, the guy.
Austin. Lloyd Austin.
The black guy.
Yeah, so Lloyd Austin, he now tells you, he sits down and he messes up Afghanistan. He then has his team under him release secrets to Iran, telling them how
Not good.
Israel's going to attack. So
Look, I'm not going to fight with you. That guy needs to go. He screwed up.
what does it take for him to get fired?
That's not Kamala.
Don't forget,
She's not the president. She can't fire
He
that
had
guy.
surgery. He had surgery and he
I have
disappeared.
prostate cancer. Yeah. Look,
By
this
the way,
guy's a loser.
why
He's gotta
can't
go.
Kamala Harris right now saying, I'm making an executive decision? We need to go with what's going on in the world right now. Lloyd, General Austin, you got to go.
I think she should make
And
that
if
statement.
she fired him, how many people would look at her more in a role like presidential? She would look more presidential if she fired
Govy,
him.
you should be her political whatever.
It's a boom,
I
boom.
mean, yeah, you're right.
The foot drops. She fires the guy.
I can't argue.
Joe Biden didn't fire him. She then comes in there,
100%.
lowers the hammer.
Look,
boom.
The breach of security to Israel is paramount to firing. I mean, that's it. That's treason. Done.
How about
Goodbye.
Afghanistan? How about not telling you?
Yeah.
You go into the knife and no one can find you for 5
But
days.
Afghanistan, they're saying that was Joe Biden that made him do it.
How about when he goes under the knife, he doesn't delegate?
Good.
The second in command had to come back from
Not good.
vacation because no one knew.
Yeah, that wasn't good. No, I agree
So
with
why
you.
not take this photo? Why doesn't she have somebody in her party say, Kamala, you want a photo op? Donald Trump, while he's at McDonald's, you're firing the guy and you're showing it's not acceptable. People would then say, hey, we haven't seen that from...
I'm agreeing with you, but I think in
That's
this...
two.
No,
Boom.
Gavy's killing me today. Well, he was 4-0 on his pro picks,
Yeah, he was.
and the week before he was
4-0.
4-0, folks.
Pro, I
That's
got
8-0. He's like Jimmy the Greek.
I got the pros
Gavy
down
the
pat.
Greek.
I got the pro- yeah.
Gavy the Greek. But you have an election of two people that neither one of them are our best option. Donald Trump's really, really bright. He's got 4 years under his belt of experience. He signed the front of checks, not the back of checks, his whole life. Got it. But, he does have adversarial relationships with everybody that works for him. He has that guy, what's his name?
Nico Cohen?
Yeah. No, the other guy that came out as chief of staff this week, I forget.
Kelly?
Yeah. Major Kelly.
Yeah, he got fired. He's upset. Listen, here's what Donald Trump has to deal with that no one else does. He got thing where how he's a ladies' man. He could grab a woman by her private parts. Everybody's saying the guy's like subhuman. Yet, the first gentleman, Emhoff, it comes out.
You got it in for this guy. Don't
Well,
you?
this
I
beat a girl, slaps the girl that he's having that he's with.
How's that
beats-
Kamala's fault?
No, slaps her. Then he impregnates the nanny. Then forces her to have an abortion. Then gives her $80,000 and she signs an NDA. And all of a sudden, Donald Trump is the horrible person. Really?
Well, again,
Really?
Gabby, you're going to get it taken.
Why doesn't the media? Why doesn't the media come up
You're
and say
going to
this?
take another victory lap here because I'm going to say you win on this. I disagree with Kamala's, and I'm on that side now. I disagree with them calling him Project 2025. He said he's not part of it.
The bloodbath comment.
The Nazi stuff. That's wrong. They shouldn't do it because he's not. His 3 grandkids are Orthodox Jews. His daughter's an Orthodox Jew. I mean,
Did you see the bar mitzvah pictures?
yeah, I mean, that's just bad. It's dirty politics. And I think if she loses, it's because of this, because everybody in the barber shop, even the African-American guys are sitting there. And I have a comment about that. You tell me what you think.
I think it's great that they're doing that barbershop stuff.
So for you folks that haven't seen it, Fox News is going to and I watch Fox and CNN. Govy only watches Fox. He won't
I do watch CNN.
To the dark side,
no,
CNN.
I watch CNN. I won't go to MSNBC. I mean, Mark Cuban now looks like Rachel Maddow, doesn't he? They look identical.
What is with Mark Cuban? He hates this guy Trump so much. Jesus.
Because he saw what Trump did,
right.
And he thinks he could be the next Democratic candidate. So he's teeing himself up. He thinks that Donald Trump was a business guy and not political. He's next. I'm telling you, he's running for president.
So I have a very sexist remark, and I don't know if it's going to piss a lot of people off. Maybe it'll get our reels this week were exploding. Maybe this one will explode. I just think African-American men would rather vote for a man than a woman. Not whether she's a black woman or a white woman. I think that they would rather African-American man, and you're saying Donald Trump is polling instead of 6% African-American, it's like 19 or 20%.
More than that, and I think you're wrong on that. I think African-American men want to vote for somebody that makes their life better. And they don't care if it's they don't care.
On, really?
Men now, yes.
Do you think so? You think that's part of the equation?
Well, no, wait. If Kamala Harris never ran before, if she wasn't in office, would they lean more for a black candidate than someone else? Yes, I agree with that.
Not if it's a woman.
But she already, if she did a great job and Joe Biden had a great, and they were living great, and Kamala Harris was taking over because he's old,
I agree with
they
that.
would vote for her because they're doing better.
But do you think
they see how they're living.
But do you think, let's say Trump's polling at 19% with African-American men, do you think if Joe Biden was running instead of Kamala, do you think Trump be polling at 20%?
It would be less. They would even be a little less.
You think it'd be 25%?
No, I think it'd
be 10%.
It would be a little higher. And by the way,
Biden would get more of the African-American male vote than Kamala.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No.
Well, we'll never know.
I think that we never know, but we do know that Joe Biden can get up there and say, and by the way, he is such a help to the Republican Party. The last 2 weeks he gets up there, he wants to lock up Trump. That's what he said. And he has been trying to do that because we all watched all these court cases. So now he's trying to make like he didn't. And
I'm reading the book.
What an asset he is.
Oh my God, I'm reading the book now, War, by Bob Woodward. I promised it to one of
another winner.
Yeah, I promised it to one of my Buffalo friends. I'm going to give it to you when I'm done it. But they basically were this Bob Woodward who discovered Watergate and all that nonsense, and he's a way left Democrat. He just buried Joe Biden. He said the guy was in 2020. Yeah, but in 2023, he said he saw him at a fundraiser. He said this guy was like a 90-year-old guy. He was like he was unconscious.
Well, let me ask you a question. That goes back to Kamala Harris. Her job, she took an oath that if something should hurt the president of the United States, that she can step in there and pull the 25th Amendment to protect the United States.
That wasn't the deal.
Do you know he's still president until January?
It doesn't matter.
Do you think
she made a deal that she wouldn't?
But do you think
he'll turn it over to her, give him his 14 million votes, and she can't rat him out?
Do you think he's capable right now of running the country?
No, but that wasn't the deal.
Who's running the country now?
Barack Obama from Hawaii.
He is.
Or somebody like
George Clooney, George Soros.
I mean, it's like this. I'm reading all this stuff about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. This guy is a freak.
Yeah.
Another one, P. Diddy, Abercrombie. This Robert, he's having a sex texting affair with this woman from the New Yorker magazine.
30 years old.
For a year.
Right.
Who the hell sex texts with somebody for a year? And claiming, I never had sex with her. I never met her in person but once.
But
really?
Cheryl Hines is staying with him.
There's no way. I mean,
Oh, you want to throw that at me? What's Kim Kardashian?
You already 3-0.
What's Kim Kardashian? After the first kid, and she sees Kanye West, she says, I want to have another kid with him. That's 2. Then she says, let me have another kid with the... Can you imagine this guy, this anti-Semitic guy, is the father of these 3 kids?
I think it's 4.
4 kids.
But when the kids go to the orthodontist, do they put the grill in there?
I don't know. But I mean, you got to look at Kim Kardashian and say, what is it?
Anyway, Govy
I have
is,
my picks.
Yeah, Govy's 4-0, so maybe stay off of college. It's too hard. Govy's 4-0 on the pros, 2 weeks in a row. That's 8-0.
The problem in the colleges, to let you know right now.
It's too hard. How
It's
many
the portal.
you're betting too many
No,
teams.
it's the portal system. And the problem that you have is no one knows. Like, you look at a college team, and the next year you could have 20 new guys that you had no idea. They came from Oregon. They came from this school. University of Miami has a quarterback, Cam
5-0,
Ward.
6-0.
Yeah, his name's Cam Ward. The guy is a fifth-year senior. The guy played for Washington State last year. If he went into the NFL draft, he would have been a fourth-round draft pick. He decides that he's able to take the $4 million from University of Miami. He comes to Miami and says, I'll give you the one my last year. The guy is breaking all records. He's going to be a top 5 player taken in the draft, and he's the Heisman Trophy winner. Now, that's how much his stock went up, and you never would have known that because last year at this time, no one knew he was going to be the quarterback of University of Miami. That being said, here's my college picks.
Well, let me ask you this question. You know, we want to hear your picks, and we're going to hear your picks.
Okay.
I just, I like to gamble on the games like you, and I bet Eagles under 43 total score last week. That was my bet. And in the fourth quarter, they took all the starters out. So is that fair to the gamblers? I mean, I won my bet. It was under 43
Well, that's
points.
all. That's all part of gambling. Now,
But, nobody said to me as a gambler, if you're betting over, by the way, let me tell you, they're taking all the starters out in the fourth quarter, and the score's going to be low.
well, that would be inside information, which is good.
Yeah, but it's not fair to the bettors. I don't think you can bet
Well,
anymore. It's too crooked.
they can't help it that the New York Giants puts an inferior team out onto the field, and just like
Yeah, but I bet it for the starters to play 4
the
quarters.
Kansas
not
City
3.
Chiefs just lost a wide receiver because he's out for the year because he played the last 3 minutes of a meaningless game and he now
I
broke
get
his
it.
ankle.
Okay,
So the
that's a
injuries.
good
So now.
Govy, now that's another good argument.
yeah,
You're killing me today. We want to redo this show.
And if you remember, if I told you about gambling, forget teams and over-unders. If you had inside information,
Yeah, you did.
bet a player. Now, Saquon,
let's hear your bets.
Saquon Barkley,
That was great reel.
176 yards he
Yeah.
had. If you would have bet him over 100 yards versus the New York Giants, and I said they're going to give him the ball all the time, that was the steal
Well,
bet.
how about the coach? There's a reel where the coach went over to him on the sidelines and say, "You're 13 yards away from your all-time high. You want to go back in?" He said, "No, let the young kids."
But
eat."
he already had 100. You would have won your bet. You already won your bet. It was
I know, but he could have won. He said, "Let the young boys eat." It was kind of like the Mean Joe Green Pepsi commercial
Right.
years ago.
It was
like an inspirational thing.
It was. So now,
All right, let's hear these college. I don't like your college.
I think
picks.
my college is going to be okay.
How many you got?
I got 3 colleges this year.
Oh,
Just
that's
3.
smart. Okay, Govy.
I like Arkansas minus 6.5 over Mississippi State. I like Eastern Carolina University minus 7 over Temple. I like Texas minus 18.5 over Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's the team that beat Alabama.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, Texas just lost to Alabama, and you're going to see when they get up for it. They're my college picks.
All right, I don't know about that last game. Because how about University of Miami? Who they playing?
They're playing Florida State. It's a lot of points.
Wow, that's a
It's
great
home
game.
It used to be a great game, not this year.
But that's an interstate rivalry game.
Yeah, Miami should win pretty big. But it's
Where's
too
the
many
game
points.
at
Miami.
Oh, wow.
I gotta see if I want to go. I might go.
I might go with you. Can
Okay.
we take the train?
No, it's at the stadium where there is no train. It's at the Hard Rock.
Oh, it's at the Hard Rock. Okay, I thought it was down in Miami.
By the way, Knicks Miami Heat game next week
I could get my brother-in-law's tickets.
for the Heat game.
No, this the Miami
Oh,
game.
okay. I have. I can go to the next. Anyway, my pro picks. I'm doing great in pros. Minnesota Vikings minus 3 over the Rams. That's tonight, I believe. Baltimore Ravens minus 8.5 over the Browns. Don't forget.
You got these reels. You got to go
Okay,
fast.
don't forget, Baltimore used to be the Browns. They were the Cleveland team. Green Bay minus 4 over Jacksonville. The Jets minus 7 over New England. San Francisco minus 4 over Dallas.
How about Eagles?
Not touching the Eagles game. I don't want to be a homer and what I think. They're playing Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win, but I could also see them.
Where's
laying it.
Dallas? I love
Dallas
watching
is
them.
in San
Oh,
Francisco.
man.
And Jerry Jones, by the way,
He is great to watch.
he has a
in the
little
pain.
dementia hitting him at 82 years old, and he's running this team, and the fans of Dallas are going crazy because they got a guy like Joe Biden is running their franchise, and it's embarrassing.
Well, is it like a dictator and they can overthrow him and
No.
make him sell the team?
No,
You
they
know,
can't.
Boycott the
They're
games?
stuck with him.
But how about if they say we're not going to go to the games if you own the team?
He doesn't care. He gets the TV money. No one even has to show up, and he's making a fortune.
I mean, it's just so painful. The guy is literally the worst owner ever. Besides Dan Snyder, who's out.
Right.
You know, he was the worst too.
Yeah.
All right, Gabby. The last thing, I don't even want to talk about it. It was stupid. You know.
I could talk to you one last thing in sports that's going on.
Shoot.
Joel Embiid played for the Sixers. They had their first game last.
He's the MVP.
He just signed this year. He makes $70 million a year.
Can you imagine? That's less. That's a little less
and
than you.
He is not. He's missing the first week of the season, not because he's hurt. It's because of they want to like rest him. Now
let me give some context before you finish your story. Sixers were in the playoffs. Joel Embiid, you know, basketball's what, 86 games?
82.
82. He ran out of gas in the playoffs because he played so much this year. When it was big time, money time, he ran out of gas. So this is what's going on.
But he was healthy enough 2 months ago to play for the Dream Team and win a gold medal for the U.S. Olympics. So now if you're a fan of Philadelphia, you watched a guy play 2 months ago, he was playing basketball. 2 months go by of him resting, and now they're saying to you he's going to miss the first week of the season for rest, and he's not going to play back-to-back games, and he's going to maybe play 50 games this year. And you got to sit there and say, how about the kid that lives in Orlando, and the Sixers play Orlando twice during the season in Orlando, and the father goes out and buys his kid a ticket because his favorite.
And they're expensive.
Maybe $200 a ticket.
Wow.
And the father wants to take his son to see his favorite player. And you go up to the game, and all of a sudden they announce before game time, Joel Embiid is going to be resting today and not playing.
Sucks.
Should he, here's my question, if Joel Embiid doesn't play, not because of injury, just because of rest, should a fan be able to turn in his ticket and get a refund?
That's a really hard question, above my pay grade. I would think the answer obviously is yes, but it'll never happen.
The fan should be able to. They should not be able to pay these crazy numbers to a guy making $70 million a year.
100%.
That you do all your stuff, you take your kid there, and then you show up that there's no Joel Embiid.
Well, let me ask you this question: under the full disclosure law, if you were if you were to say Joel Embiid can't play 70, 80 games a year, he's just not physically fit, but he'll play as hard as he can for $70 million a year for 50 games. Are you then okay?
I'm okay if you want to say he has a bone contusion.
He just can't play physically. He's too big. He's
you
too
want to
heavy.
say he has a sore ankle?
No,
whatever you
he
want.
has bad knees.
But whatever it is, you can do that. But right now, the NBA is investigating the Sixers. And you know why they're investigating them?
Why?
Because what the Sixers did is perfectly legal, but it smells. So they're trying to figure out, how do you go up to a fan who has done nothing but pay to put his butt in a seat to pay a guy $70 million to watch him play, and then he gets told he's not playing with no notice.
Govy, this is a great subject, great discussion. I agree with you. Again, Govy's right.
Give him the money. The fans should be able to get their money back.
Or they should play him 5 minutes. Let the kid see him play 5 minutes. He doesn't have to play a whole game.
Well, no, that's not the way it is. Either he's off or he's not. But you got to be prepared to give money back. If you could give the guy $70 million a year,
nobody gives money back. You're the only one I ever met in life that got money back at the old podcast studio.
Hey.
All right, folks. Have a great week.
We'll see you next week.
The car carriers are coming down to
and
Florida.
It's getting close.
It's Chamber of Commerce weather every night, every day. It's gorgeous. Have a great week.
See ya.
I'm only one call away from home. Yeah, I'm sorry.